Hello friends and welcome to another video lesson from DBOS Talks. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified of new uploads. This video is part of the playlist called SQL Developer Tips. And this time around, we'll be learning how to use Query Builder within SQL Developer. So SQL Developer, the one you're looking at, is the IDE of Oracle SQL, and with it, you can do your development, be it using SQL or PL/SQL. Okay, so in this video, we'll be learning how to leverage on a feature called Query Builder, which is already within the SQL developer. So in the interest of time, we'll be learning the basic, which is handling or using it for a single table. Okay, once you get the hang of it, then you can use the same skills to apply the same technique on doing it for multiple tables. Okay, so the query builder is used to make it easy for you to construct or to build SQL statements with minimal or no typing. So for instance, we want to use the table called customers. So from this view on the navigator pane on the left side, can have a look at the table you are interested in, and then you can drag drop it from the left side into your SQL worksheet, the white piece of paper here. Okay, so if I want customers, I will drag drop it here, and then not like that. Okay, so you have to be quick. Nope. Okay, so you'll be prompted, and I'll skip the first option because what it gives you simply gives you the object name itself, which is in this case customers, and that's what, for the most part, you don't need it actually. It's a very short, it's just a few letters, but this one we'll be learning how to be helped by Query Builder to build the SQL statements that you want. Okay, in this case, I'll choose the option called Insert. Okay, and then I'll click on the Apply button, push button. Okay, so what it does is it gives you a skeletal SQL statement, in this case, an insert statement, which is very helpful because it saves you a lot of time instead of typing that command into the SQL worksheet in SQL Developer. So it has the insert into clause in there. It mentions the table you have chosen, and then the whole set of columns are mentioned. And then alongside that, of course, is the values clause, which gives you the option to specify the values. So it is, of course, up to you if you only want to selectively insert into specific columns, especially mandatory columns, if you know what I mean. Okay, but at any rate, if you want to execute this now, this is what will happen because they're using bind variables over here, the ones with the columns. Okay, if I will execute this now, you'll be prompted one by one for those bind variables. So meaning SQL is asking you what is your value for V0, which corresponds to cost ID column, and V1, what's the value for that, which corresponds to surname, etc., etc. So if you're fine with that, then you can enter the value here, etc., etc. Okay, but if you don't want that, then you can just easily, it's not really a big piece of work. You can specify the values here, depending, of course, on the data type, be they varchar2, a number, or a date. So you will have to know your basics of SQL, when to use a single quote, which is for strings, which are varchar2, etc., etc. Okay, so at least here you have a skeletal SQL statement, an insert statement, done by just the power or by the action of a drag and drop. Okay, so that's the insert statement. Second option, let's just say we'll use the same table. Again, you need to be quick with the drag drop action, otherwise it will just show the table in here. That's not what I want. Okay, so I'll quickly drag drop it, and then this time around I'll be choosing delete. All right, and then same as before, I will click on the apply button, and it will present to me a skeletal delete statement. Is also very helpful because it saves me a lot of time instead of typing all this text, right? So it correctly mentions the table, of course, and then certain columns are mentioned there. for the where clause, and it's really up to you. If you are just gonna be using the primary key column or columns of that table, then go ahead. If there are other columns that you wanna add into the mix to the work condition, it's really all up to you. Again, there'll be bind variables over here, and when you try to run this, you'll also be again prompted to enter values for each of those bind variables. Okay, those variables that are begin with a column, right? Otherwise, you can just easily specify here the conditions. It could be a hard-coded condition, of course. It could be a string. It could be a hard-coded number. It could be a hard-coded date, all right? But do take note, if you're not so familiar with SQL, do take note that when we do a deletion in SQL, you are not allowed to selectively delete certain columns of a row. But when you delete, you're actually deleting the entire row of data or record. So that is why when you look at the delete statement, it doesn't mention any columns there. You do not say delete this column, that column. No, you just say delete from the table because you are deleting the whole row, all the columns of that row. The row is being specified by this where condition over here. It helps you to narrow down. Without the where condition, then it will delete all the records in that table. Okay, so this is your delete statement. Again, you need to nothing to do in the delete. You don't have to mention columns because it deletes the entire row. Only that you need to specify, have a second look at the where condition. Is this good enough? Is this what you need? Also, if are you fine with using bind variables here, or do you want to specify hard code those conditions? Okay, so that's delete. Next is update. So same thing, you will drag drop quickly the table to your SQL worksheet. Okay, I'll choose update. Okay, and then click on apply. Again, if you haven't picked up what I mentioned at the beginning, we're only, for now, showing in this video examples on how to use the query builder on a single table. Okay, so apply. This time, it gives us an update statement, an SQL statement, a DML statement, and the update statement mentions the table, and then it mentions the where clause with some columns there. And again, it's up to you on which column or columns you want to use in the where condition. And again, it's up to you if you want to get on with this, the use of bind variables in the where clause, or you want to specify hard-coded conditions such as strings, numbers, and or dates. And most importantly, because no software can read your mind, this is an update, and the software doesn't know what's on your mind, what you intend to update here. So you will really it's a must for you to specify what kind of update you intend to do in this statement. Okay, set what, do what kind of update on certain columns, on which single column, multiple columns, whatever it is, but you need to specify it in the set clause in this area over here. Okay, so that is the update. Next up is the select. Again, we'll use the same table and do a quick action. Once you drag drop it from the left to your right to the SQL worksheet, then you're prompted with this dialog. This time we'll be choosing select in the radio button list and set radio buttons here. Select, and then see it's defaulted to individual statements. I will choose apply, click on the apply button. Okay, and it gives you a select statement of the columns of the table. So again, it's up to you if you want to get on with this, or you just want to select or specify a subset of this set. I mean, not all these columns. And then you have the column, I mean, the table name here, and it's up to you also what kind of where clause you intend to add to this select statement. So again, in this video, I showed you how to use the query builder within SQL Developer, which is used as the query builder is used for you to, it helps you to construct or to build SQL statements, DDL, not really, DML statements, data manipulation language. So you have the select, insert, update, and delete. And it is a lot of help because it minimizes your time of building, of preparing the SQL statements, except for some minimal changes that you need, such as in the update, where you need to specify what kind of update you want to do, or in the work clauses, where you want to be more specific on what kind of condition to be followed, especially in the select. Actually, all of them can have a work clause. The select, the insert, the delete as well. No, not the insert doesn't have a work condition, but the update and the delete also. Okay, as I mentioned, the same thing, the same examples can be applied on multiple tables having doing a select statement, etc., etc. But the tricky thing that you need to be aware of is how to be very quick with the drag drop action. Otherwise, you will miss it. So I'll give you an example, but I could actually miss it too. So let's just say I'll be targeting two tables, departments and employees. So I will do a control select of both. Okay, now that they're selected, okay, let me just erase this. Departments, employees. And then I will do a quick drag drop here. See, it's very tricky. It's easier to do it with a single table, but when it's multiple tables, it's a bit of a tricky thing to do, to drag drop it without getting the wrong things. I mean, showing a single table there. Anyway, you can go over the video, the demonstration I showed you, and it really is the same way. It's the same process, just that at the beginning, you will do a multiple selection by holding down your control key. Thank you for watching and listening, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'll be seeing you in the next video.